Because I came. Sorry about it. I did that TV show. How's it going? It's Married Tomorrow here. I want to welcome you guys to the show. I suggest you go over to Dr. Thunder's page and look at that panel with BGS Itmore, Tia Son Johnson, Green Gorilla, Dr. Ron Neal. And you need to understand how you've been played for a fool by the men who don't even exhibit masculinity themselves. You have to understand that the time is up for the intentions on organizing. The time is up for saying all of this stupid stuff. The time is up for that. You have to go out and organize on the side that you own. Listen, hey, this stuff has always been happening on the left. That's the history of the actual thing. I mean, you just can't hide behind the history and not knowing it and just preaching to dumbass people forever. You have to get up off your ass and do something about it. Remember, T.S.R. Johnson came out with a 15-point agenda. That agenda has been out there for some years now. He has talked to nobody in politics about his agenda. He came out with that agenda to make these sorry ass black men who don't want to organize for anything feel comfortable about being at the bottom. And when we ran him off of his so called agenda, he just didn't cover it anymore. So you have to understand that it's not white men who is actually stopping people from doing things. It's black men. And it's mostly older black men. Older black men with no type of accomplishments who did not get to the money. Their only accomplishment is being with a broken woman inside this environment. They really don't have anything to offer the youth. And this is why younger people don't have anything in common with older, unaccomplished men. They don't. They don't have anything in common with those people. And it doesn't matter how many crossovers you do. You have to understand that you haven't done the work. You haven't done the work. You haven't done it. Like, how many times do we have to see Tia Son Johnson gaslight emotionally weak black men? Oh, everything is about victimhood. Everything's about victimhood. Ron Neal, his shit is being unapologetically a black man. What the fuck does that even mean? The only thing you people want to do is chest bump and not really do anything. This money is too easy to get to right now. We don't even know what career field these dudes are in. They can't even get anybody to the money. They can get you to the victimhood though. However, BGS Hitmore himself, with his last actual community tab post, showing a woman from the 70s saying that she didn't want to lead men. Saying that she didn't want to lead men, and BGS actually titled that "The BW Cannot Be Reprogrammed." Well, if you knew the black woman couldn't be reprogrammed 50 years ago, why in the hell would you come to a space full of broken men and broken women trying to offer them fake answers to a solution that you don't even have? You mean all this time and we can't pick a side yet? All this time and we cannot pick a side yet? All this time we cannot pick a side. It's very childish for black men to even act like this. No answers, no solution. No type of action. No plan of action. The only plan of action that they have can't even be passed. These were all the dudes who was leveraging Ice Cube's so-called political credentials. These were the people on the panel who felt represented because that entertainer came up with a plan that he didn't even want to put in focus. Ice Cube never talked to his local people about that plan. He just ran up to the top, took a photo op, and that was it. That's it. You got to understand that these people did not want any progress. They love the fact that this woman is choosing unproductive men. They love that. They love it. Because if you actually think that those individuals are going to go out and challenge power, you're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong. And they've been wrong this entire time. But they want to come to a space and be the biggest liberals in the room. What I mean by that, don't want to follow no rules, don't want to organize for power. The only thing they want to organize is deliberate victimhood. That's the only thing that they're here for. They want a chest bump because a lot of these dumbass motherfuckers don't even know what a man is. So they need somebody else to act out what a man is for them so that way they can feel comfortable. This is nuts. There is no type of society that have weak ass men like this who actually depend on a strong woman for leadership. It doesn't matter. Go through the actual live stream and tell me what specifics have you actually heard during that live stream. You don't have any specifics. And this is why these dudes stay around broken men. They don't dare go outside of that purview of broken men because if they go out in real society, somebody take their head off with facts. And like, what are you actually doing here? All of this talk, all of this chest bumping, all of this victim narrative that doesn't get anybody anywhere close to the money. What's going on, man?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can 100%. I can hear you loud and clear, man. What's going on?
Oh, not much. I just hit the link. I didn't know if you was ready or not. I just
No,
seen
no, no.
you were
I'm
live.
ready. No, I'm ready, man.
Oh,
It's just that these older men, and it's 100% older men who want to lead us to nowhere, who don't want us taking any specific actions to stop the woman from actually choosing the actual weak ass men so that way they can keep their spot. They're trying to keep their spot. They're not trying to change anything. If they wanted to change something, they have to answer and atone for the actual content that they put out. Your content is your intentions.
correct. I agree. I definitely agree. Um, as you know, you seen the run in I had about 2 or 3 weeks ago. You actually covered it, and I was surprised that
Yeah.
you covered it. But when you listen to these guys, man, what you're getting is a combination of what I call the preacher format
Yes.
mixed in with what the conscious community did, and then it carries over into the manosphere where people are just making stuff sound good or trying to draw in an audience because they want a money grab versus giving actual vital information out to people who need it.
I mean,
You
because the
know,
whole point is to never get to the actual tangible solutions.
correct.
Like these people ain't stupid, right? So
Yeah,
you don't go major in Africana studies
right.
and then turn around and talk about black male victimhood. Now it's fine if you are a medical doctor, but
Hmm.
you're a doctor of Africana studies. So playing around with these people's broken circumstances for an audience, dude, that's some highly unethical shit, man.
Very.
Highly unethical shit. And
Yeah.
okay, you got Dr. Ron Neal, PhD in I think theology. What the hell's a theology major doing around here? Chest bumping on masculinity and shit. Like you a young ass child who don't even know what a man is. This dude is older than we are. I'm like, man, this shit don't make no sense. I mean, you got Green Gorilla. A G with a PhD, need I say more?
Yeah,
That dude should have had infrared beams on his head as soon as he came out of that prison cell when he sold dope to his own fucking community. It should have been top
yeah.
ramen and spaghetti sauce all over the place as soon as he stepped out of that fucking prison. Ain't no way in the hell this dude is trying to see black men win. BGS hit more, need I say more? This dude have seen this woman not change for 50 years and came out with a channel for understanding women, a so-called fucking Ipmore. A dude who's so-called monk mode but having channels trying to help black women, the same women that you won't even produce for.
Well, again, that's the hustle part. See, women, if you can tap into the woman's audience and draw in their money, they pay. That was told to us, God rest his soul, by somebody else. That
Yeah,
you guys don't pay, the women pay. So everybody's trying to come up with a formula to do a money grab, to get their notoriety, their fame, to get their, super chats and cash apps. And the integrity is sacrificed within that. Now, I've been telling guys for a long time that you're fighting a losing battle. You shouldn't even play or entertain or even deal with it. Step out of it and step away from it. I told guys this 2 years ago. And going further, I just had to research it because I something told me in my heart. I said, man, dating is the problem because we used to do things differently. You can do it in layers, right? You can say, okay, courting. People don't know courting and dating don't mix. They're two different things. Majority in the past, if it wasn't arranged marriage, or you can even reference the shotgun with it, right?
yeah.
So when you explain history and explain the introduction of dating, when all those other things before that were phased out, where it was looked upon bad to be out with multiple people. Am I correct?
It was, and I'm gonna go over there tonight with the Willie D piece because what he think a simp is, he actually was the simp in that scenario. He was the
Correct.
one who organized his whole life around the obtainment of sex, and he think that, or actually Willie D thought that because he got the ass. I mean, only thing you gotta do is listen to his music. I have all his albums.
Yeah.
These were the
Yeah.
dudes who were so-called winning all these problems that they was going through, and
Mhm.
somehow you needed to actually be dealing with these people in order to have these problems. I'm like, dude, those women moved on to other men after you broken them. They had kids and everything else that they didn't raise right. So you
Yeah.
can't blame the manosphere for like the existence of things that are happening in American culture. Like that's just crazy. But
Yeah.
but the hyper masculinity is something that appeals to a dumbass motherfucker who actually
Yeah.
think that just going out there and being hyper masculine is gonna get you what you need in this life. It is not. You're gonna have to get your ass out there and study and build like everybody else. But see, everybody's on this snatch and grab shit. Snatch
Exactly.
and grab. You know, they think like masculinity is like the prize at the top of the Super Mario pole. You just jump up there high enough, draw the flag down, and you done for the day. Like, nah, man, bro, listen. Your masculinity is what type of career field are you in? Yeah,
Mhm.
what career field are you in? And a lot of these people really ain't got no motherfucking career field outside of education. It don't take an intelligent motherfucker to keep repeating the same shit every fucking semester to people at a school. That's not a mark of intelligence. It's a mark of not intelligence, especially if you're not doing anything outside that and you keep up all this whole shit online outside of you so-called educate somebody's kids. Here's the thing. Where are the $1 million clients? Where are the people in society who say, you know what? I like what these dumbass credential shines is saying. I want these people to come to my community and mess my shit up, just like y'all shit is messed up.
Yeah.
You never hear it. You never see it. I'm telling you, man, these people are not leaders nowhere in society. Nowhere. They're online because this is where all the broken people are at. And at the end of the day, when it comes to getting this shit straightened out, it's not going to be by these individuals. It's clear that they're trying to keep the woman in charge so that way they can maintain their spot.
Yeah. And I started laughing man, and I came to the conclusion. I was like, this is the OG that everybody uh worships and praises. This dude here, and I'm like, this dude is telling me that abortion and birth control contributed to the influx of single mothers. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Jesus
I'm like,
Christ, man.
abortion and birth control prevent births, right? That is the purpose of them. So how does that contribute to a growing epidemic of single mothers who are having babies? They're not using either. And I gave the reason of hyper dating and hypersexuality, and you want to tell me I'm wrong?
Yeah, well, you have to understand that the whole point is to be a single mother to those women. Like, there's
Yeah,
no higher level of rejection than a woman refusing to take your child to term.
yeah,
There is no higher form of rejection by saying, I'm not mixing my egg with your sperm.
uh-huh,
There's no higher level of rejection because they wanted to take advantage of these women's circumstances. But if the government is covering the woman's play all the way, why would she settle for just a dude who just want to get it all? Why would
yeah,
she settle for that?
yeah. But when you tell me that birth control or contribute to single mothers, I'm like, that's the polar opposite because those prevent births. Single mothers are single mothers for other reasons. They're having sex. You see what I'm saying? And
And
they're
a
not
lot of it.
using and they're not using neither one of those things you just mentioned. So what are you talking about?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm listening to this madness, and then I'm trying to explain hyper dating, hypersexuality, and they wouldn't even let me get into this is the one thing that I will contribute to a black issue as far as the system. Desegregation introduced us into mainstream America where we lost the force of having to deal with each other and have our own culture within America and have
No,
our
I mean,
own standards.
no, no, no. It actually exposed that we didn't want to compete. We only wanted to deal with each other. That's exactly what it is. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
because because once we because we was okay with being subjugated, being at the bottom, not really
Uh-huh.
having a voice. We was actually okay with that shit.
Yeah.
Compared to what we have now, we was
Yeah.
okay with that shit.
Yeah.
We were AO to the KO with that. But once it came to actually competing, now there
Yeah.
was these issues that these other people have. We're not letting them completely off the hook. We're
Yeah.
talking about an issue that is unchanged thanks to non-political organization
Correct.
by people. The
Hmm.
pro black movement was completely inundated after the real people died. The valor was stolen by these credentialed shines who just knew the names of these people, who just wanted to give their black church alliteration of what was going on, who didn't give the people really no answers, no solution, no organization, no nothing. They just stole the valor of those people. And it's mostly a lot of these pro blacks who are still around. If you're 70 plus,
Hmm.
you fail. You let these people get a hold of your movement. Everybody have claimed so much power from this word pro-black that it doesn't even mean anything anymore. It really
No,
doesn't.
nothing.
Like the word community don't mean anything anymore either, because the women are just trying to get their homegirls off the market because they're actually graded upon the woman's level of power who's left in the environment themselves. Like all of these people really pretty much damaged and destroyed the environment, and they wanted to ride the backs of the inexperienced to get it done. What happens when the inexperienced people have way more real life experience than the people who's trying to feed them in there? It falls apart under its own weight. It's not gonna work.
No, it's not. And when you make the connections like that, and you got guys that want to try to sound real scholarly and everything, and well, I have done research and I have this date and that event, and then they skew that or misuse that or give a false claim to what it represents. It's you just keep looking like, okay, you putting on a show now. Now I figured the game out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the whole game now. Make it look like it's coming from a pupil in a professor format, but really you're changing it and altering it. And then some of the stuff doesn't even, it's not even related to what you're saying. You know, so
Correct.
it's very it's sickening, man. It's sickening.
But like I said, these are older people, older generation Xers and boomers doing this shit.
Yeah.
And you can't blame all older people. It's the people who are specifically on this narrative, specifically on this type of bullshit. And you know what's never said? What's the timeline for progress? Never question, never asked. What actions have you taken or have taken at all? Question is never asked. All this trolling the left shit. Okay, what have you got out of trolling the left? You haven't organized on the right. What's your plans over there? Other than pretending like you're participating and trying to leverage everybody else's actual actions on the left as the reason why you don't got to do shit on the right. Hey, I can't wait to meet and work with principal people on the right, but there are so few far in between that you have to write them all off as non-factors
Yeah. I mean,
because
you have
there's
to
a
be,
specific way how this play is going to work, and you can't do it that way.
you have to do what the passport bros did. And nobody has a rebuttal to the passport bros. Everybody
None,
attacked it first.
because it's a
Everybody said
solution.
it. Yeah, everybody said they didn't have no game. Everybody called them losers and lames. Now we finding out who really got the game because passport bros have women in other countries on the internet asking for you to come now, black man, and you don't
Yeah.
have to pay for a $4,000 course.
What? All right. Oh, come on, $4,000 course. But this is where we're at. Like this is why
Yeah.
you got so many older individuals in this space who's leveraging bad women onto inexperienced men. It's a real problem. It's a real problem catching these people at. I mean, I can give you an example of channels. I mean, like Ron Wills is a good example. Lord
Yeah.
knows if I ever run across that dude, hands are incoming. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna let you get up out of that fucking room without getting beat to the ground. Cause you
Yeah.
can't be an old ass dude out here trying to act like you're a player at 50 something fucking years old when we got a whole bunch of shit that we gotta be doing around this bitch. And ain't nobody got time for trying to be a player. And here's the thing. How many of these players won the fucking game? When you got
None.
superstars who got millions of dollars who didn't win the fucking game. But somehow broke ass fucking dudes who centered their life around women with no results, they won the game some fucking how. How does that work? How does that work when you have credentialed individuals who come to this fucking space, say nothing about how anything is ran? Why? They on the same bullshit that these other motherfuckers on, man. The same bullshit.
So look, did I, I kept trying to make some valid points about dating coaches, right?
Yeah,
And
all your points were right. So
and some of the things I wasn't able to get out. They wouldn't let me. They asked for it and they wouldn't let me get it out, right? So, me saying this to you, right? If a guy is in his late 40s and 50s and he got married at 20 years old, right? How can he teach dating as far as especially modern dating and
he's not
how
off the market.
correct? So in between before your marriage in your early 20s, you didn't thumb through a bunch of women, you didn't date a bunch of women, and then just stored in your memory all that expertise and experience for 30 years within a marriage. And then you could all of a sudden be a top flight game dating coach. It doesn't add up mathematically and from the substance.
But you have to
So
understand that most of these people want an excuse to take their ass back in there. And that's why I'm like, at this point, ladies, come get them. Come take these
yeah,
motherfuckers out.
yeah,
Harm these people in any way that you possibly can. Because if knowing what we know at this point, if you
mhm,
still want to go in there and make a deal, dude, that's what you wanted to do from the first beginning. There is no need of messing up the entire space over you not being able to control your dick. It's time for
yeah.
you to face these consequences alone and by yourself. And it is time for our space to stop being centered around failed men who cannot control themselves around these fucking women. What's going on, Chuck?
See, I'm glad you said something about I'm supposed to be a player at 50 something years old. So now
Yeah.
you got the other type of dating coach, the game coach, right? Okay, so now first and foremost, you don't even know what dating is unless you research the history of it. That's why I did it, and I know it's
They don't
bad.
even like let's move past that because the people who actually want to deal with these women actually want to deal with them.
Yeah,
And this right here is centered around older men sitting around chest bumping,
mhm,
no answers, apparently are on the right. The Republicans are in office. They won the midterms. They won fair and square.
yeah,
Nobody in this space is talking about what the conservatives are actually presenting. No one is talking about it. It's kind of like they just wanted to get them dudes in office, and once they're in office, hey man, job is done. No, we'll see you in a couple years. And it's like, bro, we got to stop holding these panels where these people just get to jump online and talk about a whole bunch of bullshit with
yeah.
no solutions to questions to any answers. We're gonna have to start running up on these people at some point, man. Because at some point, you're just not gonna be playing games with us, man. You can't keep playing these type of games with us because they on some we doing it for popularity shit. But this ain't like trying to fuck up our group. This is something you should be trying to build a platform off of.
Yeah, I think me and you had spoke about this about a year or so ago, talking about making a presentation in such a manner, political wise. And this is the perfect timing. When you got conservatives in office, you could have at
Yes,
least some similar conservative views that could
yes.
be pushed through. Because the way things are headed, like you're gonna either have to passport or you're gonna have to go into the political arena and try to get some headway.
I mean,
Otherwise, that's it.
but there's all these other issues that we can talk about outside of child support. Child
Yeah,
support ain't nobody really complaining about child support, but broke motherfuckers. Like,
yeah,
look at all these
mhm,
fucking divorces, and these motherfuckers are paying millions of dollars in child support a month. Do you see them out there trying to leverage their audience and trying to fight this shit? No, they giving up millions of dollars and they ain't trying to organize against it. So what is
yeah,
a bunch of broke, non-politically motivated or invested people doing talking about an issue that people who lose millions of dollars off of ain't even trying to fight
right,
themselves, and they actually are risking shit over it. What's going on,
right.
She? What's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna be quick. When it come down to it, man, it's like this. Like I keep telling guys, it's about choices. The mistakes you make, you seen your uncles, your dads, all of them go through this. So why are we still making the same mistakes? Like I said, when I came into the manosphere, I literally thought the manosphere was for guys helping each other not get through these issues and escape the pitfalls. It's like more and more guys keep going through the same thing. Nobody's no kind of elevating themselves. Nobody's learning how to not get caught up. You're learning how to put your foot in the fire and get burnt. When it come down to it,
Yes,
just plain and simple.
all
Hey,
for an audience,
bu-
all for money. All
yeah,
for an audience and all for money.
build yourself to be better. You know what I'm saying? Find a trade, find a skill, something that you do can then improve yourself and improve your status. I mean, even if you're not dealing with women on the premise of showing your money and peacocking around, you're doing it for you. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have a woman, you still need to live. That's why I can't stand when I hear so many guys on panel talking about a woman that's cooking and cleaning. You cook and clean for yourself. Whatever she brings to the table, that's on you. What you like. I mean, prime example, and I'm gonna go ahead and get off of this. I seen a pod where this guy was talking to a woman, and she was saying basically that all men want is sex in the relationship, and he was like, "Well, basically, if that's all you have to offer, then that's it. Because if I can cook and clean for myself, what do you have to offer but sex?" So
I
that's where
mean,
a lot of
but
men
they
got to
just
get
want to
away
kick
from.
their feet up. No, they just want to kick their feet up over women like fucking Captain Morgan or some shit, man. Like that's what these dumb motherfuckers want to want to do, man. But you're not doing that shit with these modern women, man. Like they ain't having that shit. They got their own money. And they don't fucking need you. They don't
Yeah,
need anything. And they're not going back to the previous deal either. They're not doing that. And it's like the dudes who are actually wanting the women to come back to the table, they can't have. The women complaining about the dudes leaving, they can't have them either. So why don't we get the people who are staying in mad and the people who are leaving in mad and just get them to fight each other and just leave us all the hell up out of it?
Yeah, it's
Well,
plain and simple. I'm be quick and I'm jumping off. I'm not gonna like I told people when I got married. I knew when I wanted to get married, I'm not going to deal with the regular norm of type of women because you're going to get the same results. You're dealing with Keisha and all this weave and popping whatever guys want to say about them type of women. That's the only result she's bringing to the table. You getting the ass off the riff. That's a plus for you, but it's not long term. So why you keep dealing with the same type of women trying to get the same type of results and hoping for a better future? I don't want women to come to the table that are broken. I want the women that are already together because that's what's building the family. If I want a broken woman, I'll stay in the status that I'm in. I can go pick them by the dozen. There's certain
Yeah,
type
I
of
ain't.
women that you want. They're not out here just frolicking around and with their hands out looking like what is this, a Prince concert or something? Like, dude, get out your emotions and figure out what you want and go from there.
But you have to understand that, like, the women just literally don't need these guys. And so they tried to make the whole space be about their own failures when
Facts.
we should be talking about our own successes. Like, I don't, like, dude, I think it's dumb as shit for a dude who is paying child support to be talking about relationship shit, man. You should be hitting your fucking mouth. What the fuck are you
yep.
talking about? Like, you trying to, okay, you ain't got custody of your motherfucking kids, but you a player? What the fuck are you playing? Like,
Yeah.
bro, if you ain't playing that motherfucking judge or the criminal justice system or actually the family courts, what the fuck are you trying to teach the next generation? How to be a failure like you? This shit is dumb. It's crazy. And hey, man, look, at this point, I just have to assume most black men ain't got no motherfucking sense. Most black men ain't got no motherfucking principles. Most
That's
black
right.
men ain't got no motherfucking understanding of how shit work, and they ain't trying to do it. They trying to listen to other people outsource and do it for them. They're some of the dumbest motherfuckers who who are not really all that hidden about what the fuck their intentions are. And it's like these people are so fucking stupid that they don't want to be in charge of anything. They want to outsource this shit to whoever they can outsource it to. It is some dumb ass shit. I don't understand it myself. That shit is fucking crazy. And when it comes time for you to actually, hey man, look, what's the timeline? You can't ask for a timeline. And no matter what panel they own, they're not asked for a timeline. And people just have these bullshit conversations just to be having them. Like, people are interested in like crossovers and like TV shows rather than fucking real progress. That shit is fucking crazy.
Well, well, if you got any wherewithal, the only progress you're gonna make is to separate yourself, to step out of it. And I mean, that's what I did. I understood that there is no timeline, and it's not getting any better, and it looked like it's going to be like this um, continuously until something drastic happens, and I can't create that drastic change. So what I can do is I can step aside. I can take what I do on a daily basis and project it elsewhere. And that's what I have done. And it's, sometimes I come back, I try to have a conversation, I try to test the water and see, where certain individuals are at, especially the ones that's supposed to have a high regard in this space. And then I find out that the space is being led by idiots, straight idiots. Um, I mean, teaching game, but you in an open marriage. I mean, like it's hypocrisy at its worst. I just can't. I can't no more.
Yeah. It's just that what they want to do is they want to drag down the entire movement because it dares to challenge them to be different people than what they are. It's nuts.
Mm, yeah.
It's nuts. And it's like, of course you're supposed to give up hope. For real. If you spent your entire life trying to,
You faded out. You faded out, man. Tomorrow, MOT.
all right, there we go. Hopefully I'm back
Okay.
now. Yeah. So the whole point is to buck break these boys. To buck break them by showing them the end of this line that we're failures and you're going to be a failure too. Because a
Yeah.
lot of these people are grown to hate the thing that they should become. They spend all this time not being productive. Now, oh, oops, all of a sudden they need to be productive. But they don't respect the dudes that much because they spent their whole entire life behind the scenes disrespecting the hell out of the men that they actually need the help of right now. And just
Yeah.
like the woman who can never accept that type of dude, they can't accept that type of dude either because they was there right along with her down in fucking productive brothers.
Hmm.
And and then you have like these PhD suckers who major in bullshit just to get a degree. But it's not the degree; it's what you do after you get the degree. If you after you get the degree, you're still on the same bullshit. You just a dude with a degree who's on bullshit.
Yeah. The education thing, man, is inflated. You know, the dudes use the title "I'm educated" just like women, and it's supposed to all of a sudden when they say that encompass all knowledge and expertise, and not knowing that a true person with common sense can understand that you're only educated in the curriculum or major that you took and successfully completed, and that's one particular field. It may share some elements of related subjects, but it is primary of itself. So you're not an expert in everything. So you can take that shit on somewhere else. And there's training and skills and stuff that go outside the scope of that. And you know, when they don't know how to talk to people like us
Yeah,
who can always make some kind of distinction and show, the limitations on something, they get pissed off.
because you've taken the conversation beyond where they can have the control over the conversation. That's the
Correct.
problem. They want to keep the conversation centered around women and the fallout and the outcome of it. Because if they can keep you off kilter and in fear and in a heightened state of emotion, you'll never be able to think straight. This is why the content is the same. It's the same. It's meant to not empower you. It is to depower you. It is to remove your actual motivation so that way you can end up like they motherfucking ass. They want
Hmm.
you to be trapped at the bottom with a minimum wage job, looking for a low value woman who would actually accept a man in those circumstances. Because that's all a weak man can get is a strong ass fucking woman who ain't about to let him swing nothing but some dick. That's all. You ain't about to do nothing else. The
Hmm.
moment you open your mouth, you're gonna have that garbage bag outside the place, trying to look for another place of protection from somebody else. But you
Yeah.
got to understand that this is a message that, hey man, look, these people have become the threat that they always trying to pretend everybody else is. They were the actual threat.
Yeah. Yeah. I've done streams on that. I've done streams. I've done lives on that, telling people, man, look, man, you've been had. The Manosphere is a setup. Be careful. And I broke down a lot of key things that are the traps, are the pitfalls that's used as talking points and um, supposedly, key key information that's supposed to be useful to the audience is actually the reverse of it. Like you said, it's very damaging. So
Yeah, it's just like when people do their hit pieces on the Manosphere. I'm like, man, look, if you actually paid attention to what the fuck is going on, you wouldn't need to do a hit piece. You would just be 100% accurate on what's actually going on. Only thing you have to do is ask them, hold on a second, how long you been here, and what is the actual progress point of where you at? Then
yeah,
you're gonna see that all the content is really based on the outcome of men getting into situations that they ain't supposed to be in from the opposite sex. That's the only thing that's here. If men got their money together and they moved on to more amenable women to their actual circumstances, there would be no manosphere. The only
yeah,
thing it is just a confluence of complaints about the same thing. Now that
hmm,
you know what the actual issue is at this point, now you got to be able to move forward from this point and actually do something productive. But like a lot of these dudes have chosen, you know what? I know there are consequences and I'm gonna go after it anyway. And it's like, bruh, you can't help people who specifically want to move into this area and damage their own selves. You can't really help nobody like that. And the point is, they want to be the one doing all the talking. They want to be the one doing all the talking because these people were advanced agents. Like an
Yeah.
advanced expeditionary force in the military is to go forward to scout out potential people who can be a problem and make sure that their actual ideas never proliferate. That's what the Manosphere was, a troll farm to move ahead and make sure black progress isn't even a thing. To actually take all our issues and focus it on entertainment and bullshit rather than move forward away from these problems. Because if you ask any of these people who claim the Manosphere is for entertainment, they never jump up on live streams discussing or defending that type of shit. They just say that type of shit in a vacuum. And they hide behind these bullshit ass audiences that they actually leverage the ignorance of. And they use those actual dumbass people as the reason why they're doing everything, which is nuts and it's crazy because, like I said, man, like, bro, anybody who care about their kids raising a two-parent household, they're not sending them to the manosphere to be gamed up on the motherfucking thing. This is a
Nah.
praise for broken fucking men
Nah.
to look up to shallow versions of masculinity and not fucking move forward. Not take a side, not learn how anything works, maintain your current position, and make sure you date the wrong type of woman. So that way you can stay behind. That's what this shit's about.
Yep. It's pretty much it. And once I figured that out, I said, "Oh hell no!" I said, I can't get down with this." I came in. I came in 2015, um, and I soaked up a lot of content, and I would pick and choose. That was one thing I was good at. I was good at picking and choosing my content, and I would come up with my own method. I could think for myself always, no matter
Yeah.
what I go. And that was the key thing: common sense and being able to think for yourself, regardless of what you decide to listen to and see. And, I found myself less and less and less viewing content, and I've actually shied away from a lot of content creators altogether. Period, because it was never ending. You know, it's
Yeah,
like, man, wait
I
a
mean,
minute.
like the Manosphere was good at parsing the actual problem out, but the moment you took action, you didn't need the Manosphere anymore. Because the
Correct.
Manosphere was never going to take any action. The Manosphere wanted to make you more and more aware of a problem that a lot of these people didn't want to dodge. They
Yeah.
didn't want to dodge these problems. They wanted these women. Here's the thing. You think these people sitting here all this time complaining about the woman? No, they want her to suffer a little bit so that way she can turn to them for actual help and support. They're gonna let her ass right back in.
Hmm.
This is why you can't have these dudes around you, man, because look, dude, if you leave one crumb of this thing intact, it'll rebuild itself into the problem that it currently is. It only thing is take its time.
And
These dudes want to compromise.
you're absolutely correct about that, because that is the one thing. I'm glad you said that. That is the one thing that I attempted to try. I attempted to try to. I built myself up, and I attempted to try to be red pill and re-enter into a relationship, and it was a complete disaster. And
As it's
the
supposed
thing
to be.
is, and the thing is, I had built myself up so high, and I had enough resolve to retain the knowledge of watching out for keeping some safeguards, so it wouldn't be as damaging. So the the results as far as any damage was minimal, but I immediately said, you know what, I'm out, 100% out, never again. That was the last little test experimentation with this culture and with this market. And I said, I'm out, and I'm never coming back. And I left. I literally went out the country and seen the difference and came back. And my progress is centered around just straight up escape as fast as I can do it.
But
It- it-
but you got to understand this. At this point, you're already better than most of these individuals in this space.
Mhm.
I keep telling people there is no need for the suicide mission nor the redemption arc. That's 20 some years that you can save. That's a couple kids that you didn't have to create. Like I can't wait for 5 years from now, the actual numbers when it comes to the birth rate. Because with
Right.
as much information as they're out there now, and with 63 of these percent of these men so-called single, I want to know what the birth rate is. Because once those numbers come out,
Yeah.
now I don't think that's going to be a grand change at all. I don't think that. I think that people are just going to make a cultural decision, like I've made a cultural decision based
Mhm.
on culture to separate myself in body and in mind and in economics away from these individuals. But these people think that they're being invested in because they're being focused on. That's really not how that works. You still have to take some action in society, and you can't be looking up to these non-accomplished PhD motherfuckers about what to do with life. They haven't even started life. They're still in the high
Right.
school phase. They're still
Right.
trying to be popular. They're still trying to be known. They're still trying to do all these other things that got nothing to do with the productivity piece. Actually, they rejected the productivity piece and they decided that, hey man, popularity is as far as I'm gonna go with this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so I tried that suicide mission one last time, but I went
Yeah.
in. I went in prepared though. I went in prepared. I said, I told myself, I'm gonna try this one last time, and if this don't work, I'll never do it again for sure. You know, and that's what I did, man. And I'm just here. I'm just giving a testimony. I'm just here to tell these guys, man, don't play this game. Build yourself up. Be productive, like MOT said. Build yourself up and find you another culture. Find you another avenue. Do not play this game at all because the results are in. Even when I was on that panel, I said the results are in. The numbers are crazy, crazy
Wait,
negative.
hold on a second. Like Dr. Thunder, unlike you, I actually dropped the link in the chat. So if you disagree, you could come up and make actual points for what you want to make. You ain't got to do it from the chat. You can actually come up here if you want to do that. We can have a lively discussion though. Any way or what you disagree with, because I don't know what you disagree with. You said completely false. I don't know what you meant completely false about. So if you want to come up and actually have a conversation that I know you can't have. I know you can't have this conversation. Because, like you, BGS, Ron Neal, Green Gorilla, Tia Son Johnson, if you come up here for this conversation, you're not going to be able to have any other conversation on YouTube, period, about nothing. So you can bring your ass up here in your YouTube career. You can do that. Or you could just hide behind these all these uncredentialed shines and just do that.
I
So
don't think he's coming up here. I
oh,
don't.
of course not. Of course not. These people are fucking cowards, man. They want to disagree and snipe from the fucking clouds. They want to throw rocks and hide their fucking hands. And you supposed to team up with these motherfuckers? You supposed to team up with these black men? Are you
No,
fucking crazy? Dude, there ain't no way you should be teaming up with these motherfuckers, man. They can't even tell you what their intentions are. They can't even tell you what the timeline is. The only thing they want to do is have bullshit conversations based on nothing, based on not taking any action, because that's where they know most black men are at. They too compromised by wanting to be on the winning fucking team, but don't want to build shit.
no, they don't. No, they don't. Um,
Yeah. You want to end your YouTube career? Come on up here, man. Why you think Tia Son, Green Gorilla, and fucking BGS is ducking the fade? They know what the fuck gonna happen if they come up here. I'm gonna ask you some real motherfucking questions, and I'm gonna start holding your ass to a timeline of fucking results, which I know you can't do. You can't do that shit. This whole this whole in the middle ass fucking shit, so that way you ain't gotta be responsible for nothing. Hey man, look, the Republicans are in office, man. Y'all motherfuckers on the right and on the middle, y'all got to go talk to them dudes about what the fuck is going on. Listen, if you don't want this LGBT shit going on, man, you got a 6-3 firm supermajority in the Supreme Court. The same way they got rid of abortion, they can get rid of this LGBT shit. But I don't see you motherfuckers talking about that.
yeah,
It sounds
yeah.
like
I
to me
mean,
that they want to be strung along for 47 more years before they get this issue passed. That's what it sounds like to me.
yeah. It sound like to me they still worried about the mindset of adult women versus
Yes.
being able to defend children in elementary and preschool from being
Yeah.
lectured by somebody who's transformed or dressed mixed and not normal. You know what I'm saying? But that's another issue, right? You know,
Yeah. But the problem is that weak ass men shouldn't be anywhere near kids, man.
right,
Weak ass men
right,
who ain't got no fucking outcomes should
yeah,
be nowhere near kids. Should be nowhere near education. Ain't
right,
no way in the motherfucking hell I would allow my son or my fucking daughter to be taught by one of these Manosphere niggas. Are you fucking high? Like,
yeah,
oh hell no. I would never allow that shit. I'm like, man, look, who the fuck is this dude? What have you accomplished? What field are
hmm
you in?
hmm
What? You trying to bring bitches back to the table? I'm like, man, turn that motherfucking bullshit off.
yeah, yeah. The
But that's
conversation.
what you got. But that's what you got. You got a whole bunch of cowards, black male cowards who want to hide behind fake and false masculinity when the masculinity piece is about the shit you produce and the people that you lead, not the people that you mislead and the people that you trying to throw away to some bullshit. That's why
Yeah,
don't nobody really want to fuck with us like that because they see the bullshit that's going on here. You don't see none of these motherfuckers being invited to anybody else's community trying to fuck this shit up, man. You don't see that.
nah, nah. And then when everybody's mentioning Fox News, that's the generic version of Fox News.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And people didn't even realize that. Oh, I'm going on Fox News or such and such on Fox News. Yeah, the generic version of Fox News, the dark web version of Fox News.
Yeah,
You know,
the real Fox News is on AM radio, man. I can guarantee you, Dr. Ron Neal, that you're not organizing with people on AM radio. I can
no,
guarantee you, you're not organizing with. I'm telling you right now, 850K How in Denver. You can listen to that right wing talk radio all to the day. You
hmm
ain't teaming up with none of them people that have a program on that station.
nope,
630 KHOW, same thing. You ain't teaming up with nobody over there on the right. They're gonna let you talk your proto masculinity shit and they're gonna tell you to go sit in the corner. The moment you ask for something, they're just gonna vote against it, yeah, out of spite.
yeah, yeah. And you roll
Bro.
through there a lot. You roll through there a lot, don't you? Denver.
No, I live there. That's why I live there.
Okay, okay, yeah. Because I remember you saying something about. I think you had one point in time you had a business route from Midwest back and forth through Denver. I think I heard you
I had
mention
one
that
from
one.
Kansas City to PA,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
since Kansas City is a day away from PA, like if I'm trying to go home, I catch a ride because I have drivers that go between Kansas City and Denver. I could just ride with them home, be on the ground for 9 hours, catch another ride out without
yeah,
even touching my clock, and come back to Kansas City, and then pick up my truck and just get back on the road. So that's
yeah,
how I
yeah.
got that set up.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's I don't know, man. I'm just gonna breeze through from time to
Wait,
time,
hold
man.
on. Wait, hold on a second. Let's see what this. I thought we had gotten past this. Why did you even come to my channel, let alone participate on my panel show? If this is what you think, I'm not somewhere where I can come up. Okay, so let's go through this statement again.
Hmm.
If this is how you think, no, this is about you disagreeing and you coming up with your disagreement. This is
Yeah,
not, well, I'm not in a place where I can come up. Dude, you just ended the fucking show. You're in a studio. You're at home in the fucking studio. The link for StreamYards is not that fucking hard. So you mean to tell me now you ain't got motherfucking time to come up, nigga? What the fuck is this? You can't use a mouse to click the fucking button, nigga? The fuck is this? Your clicking hand ain't working, Dr. Thunder? You can't summon some of that thunder and hit the link.
so he just ended the live stream.
Yeah, he just ended the live stream like I think 30 minutes ago. Dr. Thunder, man, you don't live at no fucking Walmart, man. Bro, you can hit the link while you walking through Walmart. Most of
You go
my
out in the
live
car.
streamers is why. That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, listen. Most of my live streamers is while I'm driving or while I'm walking the fuck around, man. Listen, if you had something of substance to say, you could always hit the link. I could guarantee you, YouTube career will be over. You better hide behind them bullshit ass PhDs because you ain't ready for no MOT. Not at all, man. You see this
What's
shit?
what
Fuck
statement
out
was
of here.
what
Huh?
statement is he saying was false?
I don't
Type
know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. No niggas' fingers don't work and shit. He disagreed, but you don't know what. The link's there, but he don't want to come up. It's like, how the fuck can we have a conversation or fucking organize with somebody who can't even tell you what their intentions are or what they disagree with?
so he won't even type the statement that he said was false.
No. Okay, we should
So
schedule something. Yeah, we should schedule something on my channel. Yeah, you come on up here. Listen, it's a totally open-ended thing. You can bring up anybody who you want to. You can ask whatever questions you want to, whatever. I want to make it thunderous for you because we got to start nailing down this misinformation, this disinformation, and this disassociation with the political process by acting like you're down with it. It's time to start putting you motherfuckers on some timelines, okay? Time to start putting you motherfuckers on the clock because you can't keep running this misinformation and this disinformation about politics. You can't keep doing that shit. It don't make no sense to have people here with PhDs who can't open their fucking mouth about what they're gonna do for progress.
yeah,
What? How,
that
how long is it gonna take? How long is it gonna take for all this chest bumping and these fucking G's with a PhD, like all this dumbass shit? Like, where's the fucking progress with a PhD? Where the fuck is that dude at?
yeah.
Fake ass master teachers who want to bring you the broken women that he can't save, that he did not best in his time. All this dumbass shit. Dude, this shit has to come to an end, man. It has to come to an end.
Yeah, that we should schedule something, man. That's the whole setup, man. That's what they live for. They throw something out there and then, oh, we should schedule something. So it goes right back to let me draw in an audience and what can I get? What can I grab out of this? Let me set it
Yeah,
up. You know,
yeah,
straight up
yeah.
underplay, man. These dudes is a trip, man. They funny, man.
Listen, I mean, like, bro, listen, man. Like, why would Tia Sign, Green Gorilla, Ron Neal, or even Dr. Thunder come up with me when they know I'm on the left? They know I'm invested in the actual process itself. I can recite the fucking history. Why would they come up and talk to me? If their whole idea is bullshitting other people, like, why the fuck would they even want to talk to me? It's the end of your fucking platform
Yeah,
because you have to be right. And the only thing
yeah.
I gotta do is just ask a simple ass question. What is the timeline? Point to another group of people who did shit your way. There was a time, because Dr. Thunder's a little bit older than I am, just a little bit
Mhm.
older than I am.
Yeah, they
There
don't
was a
want that.
time, there was a time when Latinos had no power before Reagan actually naturalized a whole bunch of them. They participated in the actual political process for the
Hmm.
Republican side because of the chance that they was getting. A lot of those people worked for the military-industrial complex. Those people and a lot of immigrants came over here, became naturalized citizens,
Hmm.
working on government contracts with the same Latinos that was being naturalized over here.
Hmm.
Next thing you know, we had these sanctuary states and all this shit, and all this shit became the past because black men wouldn't get off their motherfucking ass and get in the goddamn trades. So they expected corporate America and the military industrial complex to fucking suffer because men would not go and do the productivity piece. Wrong ass again. They'll just use other people. America can't wait to use other cheap ass fucking labor
Yeah,
when it
and
comes
that's
to
what
anything.
Biden tried to do, and it's not working. It's not working. You know,
Bro,
I remember
man,
though.
man.
I remember that. I remember when they came in for that cheap labor. Um, I mean, they came in an influx, man. And
Dude, listen, man. Like George W. Bush tried to put Mexican truck drivers on the road in the United States. We had to shut that shit down. People
yeah,
forget about that shit.
hmm,
He tried to put Mexican fucking truck drivers on the road. Now, I ain't got nothing against Latinos at
hmm,
all, but it's
hmm,
a high barrier for somebody to drive a truck in the United States because they don't have a logbook over in Mexico. You could drive as many fucking miles you want to.
Hmm.
whatever hours you want to. They treat it like a car. But once you come in the United States, they was gonna let them run their infinite clock bullshit while we had to run our actual 11 and 14-hour clock. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was George W. Bush who was gonna fucking do that shit.
that's
But
crazy.
you got all these trucks. That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, it puts you at a real disadvantage. If they could drive as much and as far as they want to, and you're limited. So it's like, look, man, we got to come up with some plans, bro. We got to come up with some plans. Enough of this relationship talk, passport conversation, dude. That's a young nigga's game, man. That's a young nigga argument.
Yeah.
Dudes getting their passport and leaving fucking problematic women the fuck alone. I don't want to hear no nigga over 45 talking about no goddamn passport. That shit is fucking pathetic and it's fucking stupid. That shit ain't
Correct.
for you. That shit is for the youth who can use some fresh ass options because they got some fresh ass circumstances with all this inexperience. I'd rather them spend it with somebody who ain't really fucked their shit up. That's a young man's game.
Hmm.
But like anything else, man, you always have these grown ass nigga and the kiddie pool ass niggas who fucking come over and try to ride all the fucking swings and shit in the kiddie area. Like, nah, man, just stay in your fucking lane, bro. Stay in your motherfucking lane. But but see, people can't do that shit. They always have to come through representing shit when it's popular. Never around to build anything. Always want to pick up shit and run with it when it's fucking hot. Some stupid shit, man.
Yeah. I I will say this, right? Climbing the productivity ladder takes a lot of things. I've done it. I've been on the worst side of things, being an ex street nigga, being incarcerated from going to getting your voting rights back to, being just back in the mind state of a grown man and working and busting his ass for over 10 plus years. And, not to mention the passport again, but shit, I had my passport for 2 years before all this shit even started,
That's
you
what I'm
know.
saying. You don't need a movement to take your ass on a plane and go somewhere the fuck else. You don't need a movement for that.
Yeah,
And you definitely don't need older fucking gynocrats whose actual movement is based on these broken ass women coming through here trying to fucking put you on that shit either.
yeah,
But here's the other thing, because I get this stigma a lot.
yeah.
Even though I have tons of people who work for me who have felonies, does it look like I hate street niggas?
No, no, you hate lazy niggas and niggas that aren't doing anything at the moment and continuously don't do anything. They don't never change. Them the niggas you hate. And I agree.
And, and
Because
here's
it'll
the thing.
destroy your life.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot more of these so-called educated niggas in this position than there ever will be street niggas. Tenfold, 100 motherfucking fold. There's so many motherfuckers around here who got no criminal record, who's a fuck nigga in waiting, who cannot wait to do some uncultured, unprincipled fucking bullshit. It'll make your motherfucking head spin. There's not a lot of people who get this fucking point of where we at right now. Not a lot of them. It ain't.
Well, there when these again when dudes talk about being educated just like the women, there's many things that you can throw at them like, well, educated women have damn near a 90% divorce rate, and most educated people get married. You the motherfuckers is getting married and divorced more so than anybody else. Just as much as you complain about Pookie and Ray Ray making babies, y'all motherfuckers can't stay together. So
Man, man, look, I don't even worry about that obsolete ass concept because at the end of the motherfucking day, they have to fuck everybody.
yeah,
Because if they didn't, then you could just act like one confluence of person and get sexual access. That's the whole
yeah,
point of fucking everybody, you stupid motherfucker. like, why would they let you cash in on easy access by just acting one particular way, man? This is
yeah.
why these game motherfuckers get on my nerves. These fake street motherfuckers who never served no time and who ain't
Mhm.
never did shit for anybody get on my fucking nerves, man. It's like, bro, listen, you playing a fucking role. Like this is a RPG, man. Like what the fuck is this? Like this shit is so fucking dumb. And they come here to inexperienced dudes and because they ain't got no they don't know any better.
Yeah,
They don't know any better. So they get fed right back to the circumstances that fucking created them in the first place. And it don't help nobody out when that shit happen, man. It's fucking stupid as shit.
yeah, yeah. I mean, because just as much as you take the women out of it, Okay, Pookie and Ray Ray, yeah, they bring the community down, they destroy it. But then on the other hand, you go over here, you got the educated, so-called law-abiding claimant. Um, how does that determine whether the community stands or not based upon Pookie and Ray Ray? When you're educated, what have you done with your education and your expertise to hold the community up on your end or rebuild it or keep it afloat? Nothing.
The
Absolute
thing is,
zero.
man, most of these people are afraid to take a side. They're afraid to be. They are afraid to be involved with the process. They're afraid to take responsibility. Hey, look, I tell motherfuckers up front, I'm invested in the motherfucking process. Why? Because I get shit out of it. Because I see other people get shit out of it. And I've been at this shit 20 some motherfucking years. As long as I've fucking been there, I've been involved and invested in the process itself. And guess
Mhm.
what? There are results, but guess what you gotta be? You can't be these needy motherfucker depending on reparations to motherfucking get your shit off the ground. No,
Yeah.
bro. That ain't how that works. You gotta bring productivity to the table first. And then you
Yes.
have to organize with other productive people. But see, people want to skip the productivity piece and outsource this shit to all these other people, man. Like, bro, that shit's never gonna happen that way. We already have this experience since the civil rights movement. Everybody talk about, well, we've been voting for 50 years, and I'm like, yeah, the Cleveland Browns have been motherfucking in the NFL how long?
Hmm.
Yeah, man, the motherfuckers ain't got no Super Bowls either. I
Yeah.
mean, not recently, but what I'm saying is that if you don't manage this whole thing right, and you talk about people who listen to and look at sports in a high percentage, who don't understand and pick a side, who don't understand that you're not gonna like every move that your team fucking make. You're not gonna understand the trades that they make, the people that they get rid of, the personnel decisions that they make, the plays that they run.
Right.
But somehow you come to politics and you just don't want to participate, even though you pay attention to sports all fucking day. And even though this actual shit is more important than some fucking sports. And you still don't want to fucking participate. Bro, I can't fuck with people on this type of bullshit, man. It's crazy. And I'm like, the reason why I'm here is to show people, to literally show people it's the older generation. Not only the older generation, it's the older generation in the shit that they currently own. Like you could quietly be on the same bullshit, but just not be so up in front of people about what the fuck you ain't gonna do and what you ain't gonna do. It's like these people acting like they on the right. You mean to tell me that you about to lock arms and organize with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert? They're in office. We don't see you there. We,
Nah.
we don't see you. Like, bro, listen, I cannot wait to work with other people on the right. But the problem is they only want to work on the right so that way they can throw their vote away and then point at the people who are participating on the left as if we're the fucking problem. It's like, bro, listen, this LGBT shit is a both sides issue. And you have a supermajority in the Supreme Court. So if you want them rights removed, you can easily go have that shit done. But even the Supreme Court is not interested in removing those rights. Why? Too much of a campaign issue to actually organize around. They're out of issues. They took the abortion issue off the table. They took the Second Amendment issue off the table. They have
Hmm.
nothing else literally to run on right now, except for the
Nothing.
trans issue. They're not about to give up that fucking issue. Why would they give up
No.
that issue?
I mean, really, they won't give it up because that's the only controversial issue that can stir up anything. Because Second Amendment rights, man, you can't really attack a Second Amendment. It should have never been attacked in the first place. It was bogus from the jump. And then when you think about it, right, it's gonna come to a point to where well, it's already come to that point because the feminists are complaining now about that shit. So that's another thing you gotta look at too. Like you like you said, that's the connecting dot to the left side of it as well.
Hey
See what I'm
man, look,
saying?
let the motherfuckers fight it out. They don't fight for our issues. We ain't fighting for their issues. Fuck them. You know what? No, we come together when it makes sense, and when it don't, just
Mhm.
play silent like they play silent with us. Problem fucking solved. Listen, I'm not taking my ass out there and organize for none of that shit. I'm
Yeah,
organizing for the productivity piece. If you don't want to get to the money, once you get to the money, make a cultural decision so that way your ass ain't on the dating market till you're 59,000 years old. If you ain't trying to do that shit, I don't want nothing to do with you. You're a fucking problem. There's no reason to team up with people who's trying to have this bitch rich philosophy on fucking trying to deal with as many broken women as fucking possible, knowing how much power they have in this environment with just one phone call from the police. Fuck that. You want to do that dumbass shit? That's on you. There ain't nothing that we need to be even discussing or even be worried about at this point, man.
yeah. And it's as far as abortion go, I mean, right? That's linked to cheap labor. Like they gotta produce these workers some kind of way. These new workers because it has dwindled. Along with the marriage rate and all that other shit. So influx of new workers has to be created in different ways right now. So I mean that's all it is. They're thinking about the next 10, 20 years or so.
Not just any type of worker, but cheap labor, man. Cheap
Yeah.
labor. Cheap
Right,
labor.
right.
Like that's all that is. Cheap labor.
Yeah. So that's what they're looking for.
And it's not like the government is trying to lay down these schools because here's the thing. This is why I think education should be free within reason. Like I'm not talking about bullshit ass certain degrees that don't fucking lead nowhere. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something that you get some return of investment on, like
Yeah, like
skilled
trade.
trade. Skilled
Yeah,
trade
yeah,
should be free, man.
right. They used to be
I,
free, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It used to be free until Reagan, and
Mhm.
but still, you have to keep re-explaining the history because they don't care about the history. What's going on, Mike B?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What
Yeah,
up? What
chilling
up?
out, man. We're sitting there trying to discuss like so we have this panel full of people who are apparently on the right and apparently chest bumping and everybody wants to be a man because for whatever reason it's like just this stuff don't make any sense to me about how come there isn't any action taken. Why aren't there any action being taken? The Republicans are in office. They got the Supreme Court. What's the problem here?
Because the goal is to have no action. When I've explained several times that black men should organize, and I show different examples. Kamala Harris, the VP, is an actual AKA. The AKAs came out and supported her in droves and with big money too. Um, Same thing with Ketanji Brown Jackson. Uh,
Mhm.
she's a Delta. Deltas came out in full support for it. The Divine Nine came out and supported all of these black women who are either running for office or considered for office. You don't have the same outcome for black men, with the exception of Warnock. Warnock's an alpha, and the alphas came out for Warnock, and so we raised a lot of money for him. But outside of that, you don't. The manosphere doesn't understand that basic principle of politics. It just doesn't get that. It thinks that it can fight from StreamYards, and then when they find out that no one's really listening to you outside of the space, they act like something's wrong with the system. No, the system is actually working the way it's designed to work, but you don't seem to really want to participate in it. So
And
I,
it's the same system. It hasn't changed in over 200 something years. Like I said, a lot of these
Mhm.
dudes are far older when Latinos didn't have power when the LGBT started their movement in like what the late 60s, early 70s, and
Yeah.
now they got power right now. And we've been here a hell of a lot longer than they have, and they done pretty much lapped us. What kind
they
of shit is that?
the LGBTQ community organizes at mass level. Okay,
Yes.
they are involved in the real estate industry, so they control a lot of property, billions of dollars in property. They're involved in the what do you call it, the digitalization sectors of like marketing and whatnot, so they control that sector as well, or at least they have some stake in there. And they're in Silicon Valley now. Okay,
Yeah.
they're in all the critical areas where they need to be on both sides of the fence, Republican and Democrat and independent. But you can't seem to
That's
get the manosphere to understand any of this. There are conservative LGBTQ people. For whatever reason, I don't
that
get it, but
got money
yeah.
in Denver. They own a whole side of Denver. Cheeseman Park area. The gays own that shit. They've been owning that shit. The actual
Mhm.
the old Stapleton Airport area.
Yeah.
They own all that land, and the Latinos are building like high rises on the shit. So it's like, bro, people
Mhm.
have came here in like the later '90s, the Latinos, when they didn't have that much power in Denver, when it just was a sanctuary city. Now look at them. Like it's like,
They
bro, these examples are here.
they bought property dirt cheap on the market in 2008. A lot of them did. And so now that the value of that property has gone up, it has, the value of the asset has also increased their net wealth, or their net worth, I should say, in their wealth. And so what are we talking about here? And so you already have like sitting politicians who are actively a part of that community. What are you going to do about that? You
Yeah.
think firing up more live streams and going live is going to somehow disrupt it? No, it's unbelievable what I'm seeing in this space right now. There's an unwillingness for Black men to organize. These guys understand
Yes.
to go into the military and understand ranking officers and everything like that. But when it comes to organizing, they're like, oh wow, how do we go about doing this? What are you talking about, man?
Bro, it's like they want to do everything but get involved, man. It's like, bro, it's not even the women that's trying to uphold the matriarchy more than these men are. Like, dude, like I call them, man. They're gynocropaths, man. They're fucking gynocropaths. It's like every time you look around, man, it's like a black woman all in the house. Like they got a black woman painted on the other side of their door, man, telling them not to go out and be shit, man. Like like they
Man.
got black women like black women figurines like all over the house telling them to not organize for their own shit, man. Like I can't understand weak ass dudes like this, man. Weak, aimless. Like, dude, the kids are supposed to be aimless, not adults.
I think there's a lot of apathy, for democracy in this country, coming from Black men. I think they feel like someone has taken something from them, um, and someone's stopping them from doing something. Um, I don't know any other way to really explain it, but that seems to be the sentiment, and it seems to me that they're looking for someone else to blame other than themselves. Um, Scapegoatism, right? And so the head of Apple is a part of that same community. I mean, what are you going to do about that?
Wow. Yeah.
But it's kind of like, okay, you have a computer in your hand that you use for the internet to log into these bullshit ass live streams. You don't use the same computer in your hand to do the research so that way you can stop being infinitely gaslit and held hostage by the same situation. It's like it's not even the women at this point. I don't think it was ever the women. I think these dudes wanted to be here, to be right here. For what reason? Like I don't get it. Like no one is out here doing any of this stuff but them. They're doing all this stuff. They're particularly and simply not participating.
We did a stream on the Brain Trust a couple years ago, maybe a few years ago, about former incarcerated persons getting into IT.
Yes.
You know who are the biggest advocates of that live stream? Brothers who came out of the pen. Okay,
Yes.
they were the first ones to come up there, and so this idea of no one's doing anything for Black men and all this and that, it's just excuse making to justify not having to take action. There's nothing stopping Black men in this space from creating a nonprofit organization and going out and backing candidates. Nothing stopping them from doing it.
But that's too high a level. We can't even get these motherfuckers to show up to participate once every 2 years when the vote can come to their house.
Yeah, I just think that some of these panels are very disingenuous. They operate in bad faith, and you can't really have an actual conversation with them, in 2023 about you know um, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Are you kidding me? That's like the height of your concerns today in 2023.
Yeah. Well, a lot of these panels operate under false pretenses. I'm telling you. So I mean, pretty much the majority of them. And I remember these last primaries, and I done a live about voting because I got up early that morning, got my ass out there and voted, man, because I just couldn't take no more of this stuff, man, for sure. And I especially didn't like what happened the last go around, and we at a point now where like MOT said, if you keep discussing women, if you keep discussing game and all this other stuff, there's other important things that's going to be critical to your future that you're going to miss that you could have done something about, at least made an attempt or an effort at it. Uh, that those things are really obsolete. When your welfare and your ability to produce um, has been prevented or derailed for whatever reason, uh, those things, when you're able to flourish, those things come along with flourishing. So, you know, these guys are never going to figure this stuff out. Uh, that's why you either going to have to separate, go ahead and start forming with the like-minded brothers, and just go ahead and do it. I mean, just call for it and just see who comes out, man. Because the majority of this space is lost. It's gone. And I got kicked off a panel for saying that. I got kicked off a panel for saying the majority of the space is
It was going to go, man. It's going, man.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, you just mentioning just kind of what's going on here. It's just a lot of these guys like things the way that they are, want to keep things the way that they are. I guess they keep they keep these conversations circular. No one's really serious about really doing any kind of organizing or really doing anything on the ground. That's not where they're coming from. That's not where they were ever really coming from. And this was really more about entertainment than anything else. That's really what that is. And hey, I get it. I get that. But that's why I don't sit here and argue and jump around with a lot of this stuff, because when you know you're dealing with that and that's what it is, you have to take it at face value. You know it's not serious or whatever. And those who are serious and channels that are very serious, you go there, and then you have people talking more about serious things and offering certain types of solutions and so forth that that are very real. Anybody talk about fighting from stream yards or anything else like that, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's crazy. But for those who are really talking about organizing, or those who are really talking about putting programs out there that people can take advantage of and really be actionable, then that's something totally different. So at the end of the day, people have to choose what they feel is going to be right for them. If you want to hang out and just go through the circular argument game, that's fine. These arguments have been going on since since forever. Those who are on really moving forward, they're not really playing around with a lot of that. So that's really all I can really say. I mean, the circular aspect of a lot of these arguments, I think people are starting to look at some of this, see it for what it is, and I think some people are making some judgments on that. So um, that's what I really have to say to that. I think the space is in flux. It's going to change. It's going to change a lot this year, and a lot of stuff that's been passed off for all good for a while. I don't think it's going to be going on like that for very long. I think there's a limit to some of this, and I will leave it at that.
Yeah, I just didn't know how much popularity and building an audience based off of misleading the actual future of people. Like I go through my live streams like 4 years ago, and I see the people who was jumping on the panels who wanted to get up there. Especially when I had 400 or 500 people in here. Well, years ago, and you see where they are now. It's like, were these people actually serious about that stuff 4 years ago when they jumped on the panel and acted like they wanted to be for agency and building power and all this kind of stuff? And it was like no follow through, no follow through, and it's like they turned to the woman and just blamed her for it. What? She already got power. She didn't have to organize to get it. You have to get out there and organize for your power the same way that they organize for power. And it's like they want everybody else to do the work. And it's crazy that you can't even get them to read up on the history to free themselves from the ignorance of not knowing how these things work, and they just loop back into it and go right back to it. It's nuts. So what do you do now? When you have such a large number of people who expect progress and they don't want to work for it. They expect progress, but in the meantime, they're talking about this gender war shit. In the meantime, everybody is a passport bro over the age of 45. Everybody's telling you to leave when they're trying to stay with the women that are being left behind, and they're not even trying to produce for these women. So it's like I don't understand. Like, what's the end goal here? The end goal is to destroy our group from the inside out. They want to hollow us out from the inside out. That's what the deal is. Because that's what's being accomplished. I don't get what they get out of that.
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. Um, you have an issue with dudes leaving, but then you're staying and you're not doing nothing while you're staying. Yeah, I mean that's a very good question because I know some dudes that uh, may not necessarily be doing something political like you and Mike have spoke of, but I know some groups, some passport groups that are bringing brothers into fields like IT, like the brother Mike mentioned. They're
Yeah.
bringing them into remote jobs because a lot of
Yep.
guys want remote jobs to be able to make American money and not be in America. Um, I'm about to finish my insurance sales license, and then from that I'm going into my adjuster uh, license. So I mean, and I was introduced to that through some passport brothers, right? Um,
Yeah.
I was already in sales. I've been in sales for the last 2 years. I got back in sales just to take advantage of the market. I knew from a little bit of political information and the way the economy worked that going in sales was the best way to get a quick six-figure salary if you could get in sales right after COVID, and I jumped right in it. And that's what we're doing. Um, so it's going on in a way, but it's not necessarily the original manosphere or the first two phases of the manosphere. It's the third phase of the manosphere, but it does need to go politically, like the brother mentioned. And like you mentioned, it definitely does need to do that. It's just guys right now just like, man, I'm out. They're building themselves up and they're trying to get up out of here. They don't even want to deal with this stuff no more, man.
Yeah, because it's obvious what the actual goal was. The end goal was to drag the conversation back toward the actual women. It wasn't about making any progress. It was about being the first to market and try to stagnate and stall as many people as possible from actually getting to the money so that way they can have control over their actual future. Uncle Stu, old man on the block, thanks for the $5 super chat. Salute, salute, supporting the stream. Yeah, thanks for that, man. It's just that at this point, the
Hmm.
people who actually are destroying the manosphere are trying to make us look like we're destroying the manosphere. Like, I, I don't get that. It's kind of like you should be able to let these liberal people do what they want to with a liberal space. I'm like, dude, y'all could have chose some other place to hang out at. Y'all didn't have to hang out here.
And the other thing here is that they're bringing in the passport bro movement into the
Yeah.
gender war, right? And so
Yes, they are.
the passport bro movement is a culture within itself, specifically for black men. Um,
Right.
and it has nothing to do with anything else that these guys are talking about. These other guys are talking about. Passport Bros is a separate movement for a specific group of men, for a specific demographic of age demographic, and a specific goal at the end. And what
Right.
these other guys have done is that they have basically treated it like the Ukraine crisis. Now they got Poland involved. Now they got the Moldova involved. They got all these other proxy, trying to turn the passport bros into a proxy movement against black women and stuff like that. And it was never about that. And so I think that these guys are in their death throes. I think that's what you're seeing. because they don't have any other material to really run off of. And so now, instead of, 3 months ago they were attacking Stacey Abrams. Today they're not even talking about her.
Yeah, and now that their party is in charge, nobody wants to talk about politics anymore.
Well,
Yeah,
claim,
okay.
yeah, they'll claim it's
Yeah,
not their party, right? By saying, "Oh, well, I'm a registered independent." All right, man.
But but the hyena stuck a foot in her mouth and caused war related to the passport bros. Not necessarily the passport bros themselves. The hyenas opened their mouth about other women in other nations. And then these other women fought back. And it also exposed how the hyena talked to us or tried to talk to some of us. Some of us probably dealt with it for a while, don't allow it anymore. But I mean, that's where that came from. People making a claim to the gender war just because of the clap back between the two demographic women because of the hyena opening her mouth and showing the rest of the world what you got to choose from over here. So if you chose to delve into this point, but that's a
Yeah,
whole nother story.
yeah, hey, yeah, man. But this is where we at though, because at the end of the day, the whole point was to
I
not
was
give
gonna
them a
say this.
voice. Oh, go ahead, you go.
Come on, get echo.
I was gonna say, there is no passport. I mean, excuse me, there is no gender war. With passport bros. I mean, where's
Right,
there
right.
war when guys have already stepped off and people are doing their own thing? Where is there this war? I mean, what are they talking about? So there is no war. That's been done for quite a while, but rehashed once again. Um, we're talking about brothers are moving about. They're taking their resources in some places in other areas, and if you got to
Yeah.
compete for those resources as well now at home, now you got to compete for them. So what's the problem? Is there a war on that? If there's a war on that, then let it happen. But there's no gender
Yeah.
war. So I just want people to
Yeah.
understand that there is no gender war. That is rehashed and is refried beans for some specific reasons, and it's more for those to continue their job, continue making some money on the internet and playing a certain game on something that's been defunct. It's been defunct for a few years. Don't go for the fake defunk on this. There is no gender war. I just want to just be very clear on that. That's been over for quite a while.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We know that. We know that. I'm saying the semblance of it is what they tried to market it as. The hyenas speaking on the passport bros, that they slipped up and opened their mouth about other women from other nations. And now it's a back and forth between women over here and women in other places, and the passport bros just step to the side. You see what I'm saying? So they're trying to make that seem like it was a gender war, but
Oh,
I'm
no, no,
I'm just
no.
I'm
What
just breaking it
what you
down.
do is,
Yeah,
is is you step to the side and you let those factions war it out. I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
trying to talk to any of these people. I'm not trying
yeah.
to. I'm not trying to go over and ask all these dumbass questions to people that I don't know. I'm already off the market. I don't even care, dude. Your life really starts the moment you ain't got to fight this gender war nonsense all the time. That's when
Hey,
you
hey,
can
hey,
really focus
man,
on the real building, man.
and it's great. I'm just saying though. Now, here's I will say a reference to entertainment. Now this is now when you watch these Asian women go back and forth with these black women. Now, I man, look, I never would think, man, I could get some popcorn for this, man. You know what I'm saying? So this is a little guy talk right here. Now, I got the popcorn out for that one, man. I enjoyed this exchange. So I ain't gonna lie about that, man. But let's continue, man. I ain't gonna start the bullshit.
Yeah, it's just at the end of the day,
Yeah,
the gender war is all they could ever fight. They couldn't fight any real battle here. They fought the lowest wage battle that they possibly could fight. They brought slingshots to an actual missile contest. I mean, they purposely brought these slingshots. They know these slingshots ain't gonna hit nobody or hurt anybody, but they specifically came out here to not fight appropriately. In 2023, these are not younger individuals who gave up. These are older individuals who gave up. Dudes our age and older. This is crazy.
yeah.
No, yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's just that it's
okay.
just that
Never mind.
guy. Yeah, it's just that guys are looking for a place to restart their their campaign for content, content strategy, what they call it now. Getting involved in sort of discussions about politics that they don't even know about, don't understand, getting, dragging the passport bros back into,
Yeah.
a movement that has nothing to do with what they're talking about. And then,
Mhm.
um, now they're trying to run this chat GPT thing, right? Oh, chat GPT is coming for black men. It's coming for your it's coming for your job. Hide your wife, hide your kids, all this other crazy stuff. This like conspiracy theory shit that doesn't amount to anything, man. It's like you can't go mainstream like this. It just doesn't work,
I mean, but they have to have these parody conversations to parody reality because they're not part of reality. They have to force themselves into a realistic discussion because nobody is checking for them on anything. Nobody is coming to these people when it comes to passing laws or doing anything. No one even cares if these people even exist or are even there. But they have to make a mess of every single discussion to try to assert their way into reality. That's the problem here. They have to go out there and try to make themselves known and put their word out. And it's like, bro, nobody is checking out anything for you. And it's like, dude, you're not even participating in the actual process itself. I don't get it. It's crazy that you have people who just pull up stories just, just to shit all over them, just to prove that, yeah, man, look, know, we just talked about economics. We just had a good conversation about politics. Yeah, what action was taken? And what you talk about,
Yeah,
MOT?
yeah,
Go ahead, Zulu.
yeah. I remember a few brothers early on. I mean, they didn't do anything like a mass organizing anything like that, but they did have streams where they would tell you, certain things to, get you out the gutter, man, to really get you going. Um, I don't really talk to them much there more. I know it's kind of weird too because you know when I used to go on Ramil's stream, Ramil would put you up on game about some money. He'll bring somebody on to put you up on game about some money. That stuff I follow and it actually produced, but then it'd be so mixed with the bullshit uh, that you had to take your time out. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually, it kind of phased out. I haven't really been on too many of those things or those groups of guys. I kind of shied away from them. Haven't heard much about them. I don't even know where they at right now. I think I see I pop up every for the most part. I do remember some brothers that would help you, like if you were sleeping in your car, what to do if you're sleeping in your car. Um, you can go get this job right now. This job doesn't require any experience. You get hired on the spot. I remember those streams. Um, and a lot of guys coming back giving testimonies and stuff, and it was working and stuff, man. But you are right. It's like that stuff is so far and few in between right now. It's just saturated.
Yeah, you're right that a lot of the good information gets diluted with a lot of effery. And that's kind of like why we had to kind of separate and create a channel like the Brain Trust, because we wanted to pour clean glasses of water every live stream. Every time we went live, we wanted to pour some clean glasses of water for everyone. And so I think what's happening in the manosphere is everybody's getting, poured dirty water, man, into a dirty glass, and or what's supposed to be clean water into a dirty glass. And a lot of guys are searching for content of substance, and the frustration in the space is driving a lot of people to be very disgruntled for the most part.
Because it was the place that they gentrified, and they didn't want you changing it back to the original intent. They didn't want that. They
Yeah.
didn't want that.
I mean, you got people claiming that, Manosphere 1.0 didn't exist, but claiming to be 2.0. The math isn't mathing. It's just when you start thinking like that along those terms out loud, for the general public, man, you got to start to take a step back, or somebody has to question the legitimacy of what you're saying. Um, Manosphere 1.0 didn't really exist, but 2.0 does. If you're a cashier at some store, some retail outlet, man, I don't want you counting my change, man.
Well, I knew it existed too because, like I said, I heard the guys that claimed to created 2.0 talk about 1.0. But then you got an old head that claims 2.0, and then he wants to, like, if it's somebody he liked from 1.0, he'll reference that person. So yeah, I get it. They do exactly what you said. And that's the biggest thing I've been telling people since I've been in here. I do a lot of math. I'm not the most profound in math, but basic math, you should be able to catch basic math when it's not adding up or subtracting correctly. So yeah, definitely.
Here's the thing: it's like, how long can you keep this up? Like, how long can you keep this gripped up of victimhood and gynecropathic talk, man? How long can you keep it up, man? It's crazy.
Yeah. I I just can't I just can't fathom how people try to tell me that I didn't know what I was talking about when I said the first and second wave of single mothers were the kids were the ladies that had kids that I went to school with in the early 80s. Um, and then they turn around and say that they started in 1960 and 70. So I mean, like, I was born in 79, so that's a 20-year span. So you're talking about 15 to 18-year-old women, 20-year-old women by that time are having kids right at 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, and I went to school with these kids, so it's the same thing, man. People be talking, they get caught up in the moment, and they can't even remember what they said before. Definitely
Oh, of course not.
stream
No.
streams a while back, and it'll come out. The truth will come out. The contradiction, the regurgitation won't regurgitate. It'll come out something completely opposite and different, and you throw it back at them, and all they can do is they start like they do like females. They shame and gang up and just try to boot you off the panel. That's what they do. Oh, he's like you said, he's gonna mess up my money. He's gonna mess up my stream. He's gonna end my career. Get him off the panel.
That's all it is, man. It's crazy. It doesn't need to be that way, but
Mhm.
that's the way it currently is, man. I gotta get ready for this Willie D show I'm about to do in 2 hours, man. So let me wrap up, man. You got anything else you want to get on? You want last word before we get up out of here, man?
Oh man, I appreciate you really criticize the way it's supposed to be criticized.
Yeah,
Um, you know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna bring out the substance. That's gonna bring out the truth, man. Now that's pretty much it, man. I just appreciate what you're doing. No,
yeah, cool, man. I
appreciate
mean, if we would have did this shit simply in the '70s, man, we wouldn't even be here. We wouldn't even be here right now.
right, right,
We wouldn't
right.
be here. We wouldn't be tied to these conversations. If we just had minimum standards. Now the whole damn place is full of all this talk about nonsensical BS by
Right.
highly credentialed people who don't do a motherfucking thing but sit here and talk about bullshit all day. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to catch that Willie D stream, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully, man. Try to hang around for it, man, because I get up real early, man. But I'll do my best. I'll at least catch some of it.
All right, cool. All right, thanks. I want to
Okay,
thank everybody for coming through. I'm gonna do that Willie D live show at 10 o'clock Eastern, so that way we can play some of this music, so that way we can show you what the people who was winning at the getting sexual access, what they were actually talking about and doing. Because at the end of the day, somehow he seemed to think that there's incels. The manosphere is a position point for things that the manosphere don't create that. The manosphere is doing much worse than the incel stuff, by the way. So, I want to thank you guys for coming through. The man tomorrow. I will see you guys at 10 o'clock Eastern.